Hey guys, just want to hop on here and share this exciting property I found. And I love this one for multiple reasons. Not only from the standpoint of an amazing residential property, but also for income opportunities when it comes to doing a short term rental, Airbnb, that sort of thing. So let's take a look at these pictures and I'll tell you why I find this one really exciting. So, one of the things that I get super excited about this property in particular is where it's located. It's about 30 ish minutes outside of Chattanooga. So, right here, you've got downtown Chattanooga, the North Shore. We've got our pedestrian bridge, if you are familiar with the area. And then, one of the main attractions for a lot of people coming in is they want to go see Rock City, Ruby Falls. That's actually located on Lookout Mountain. So if you've heard the Johnny Cash song, I'm sure you've heard of Lookout Mountain. And so that's going to be actually right here. So a lot of people don't realize this, but most of Lookout Mountain is in Georgia. There's only a portion of it that's actually in Tennessee. So, like if you're at Point Park, Tennessee. If you're at Rock City, that's Georgia. So here's the mountain we're looking at. And if we zoom in, so you've got that Tennessee portion, the Rock City area, and then this highway actually goes the length of the mountain and ah, and so here's the property address in question. So you've got views of the valley here. Um, a little known fact, and it's actually fun during the summertime, is Trenton has one of those classic drive-in movie theaters. And so you literally just pull your car in, go get snacks, and you can throw the football around. They have a big field there in the front. Super fun time. And you're actually really close to that. So if you were to buy this and use it as a short term rental, I would definitely highlight that as well. So here's the listing, and you can kind of see what I was talking about with the valley here. You've got these ridges here, and then you're actually up on Lookout Mountain. So the views are going to be almost panoramic. There's a couple trees you could cut down to make that view even better, but we'll go through that in a second. So, whenever you're looking at the statistics down here, whenever you're listing a home, you actually are just taking into account the main house. So, for an ADU or like a yurt in this case, that's not included into your square footage or the bedrooms and bath. So, each of these units, it's its own thing, and we'll click through the picture so you can see a little bit about that. So, the statistics again, this is going to be for the main house, built in 2000. This is the price per square foot if you break it down. You've got this acreage. Now, a lot of the acreage is going to be on the front side of the mountain. So, unless you're building a zip line or something, it's not really usable land, but you've still got a really decent amount of property here. So here's the $1 million view. This is what you're buying at that price point. Now, if you were going to be closer to Lookout Mountain and utilize their school district and stuff, this property is easily over $1 million. But it's on the rural side, which if you don't have kids that you're planning on putting in school, maybe you homeschool, and that's not a big factor for you, this is still a really good option. So you can see we've got two yurts, gardening areas, we got storage buildings, then we've got the main house. Again, that's the one that's the 4 bed, 4 bath. And then this is the view, drone footage from the front of the bluff. So each yurt has its own balcony. You've got your steps here. Main house again, you're still getting that view from the main house. So even if you didn't want to use this as residential, you could literally rent out all 3 units. This would be more of your family getaway, for larger families, and then your couples getaway here in the yurts. And so this one's a little bit closer. Now, if you wanted to provide more of a private feel, you could actually plant a couple trees here, to kind of give that separation. The other one, of course, is going to be a little bit further. But if you're using this as a bed and breakfast and that's the main house, it shouldn't be that big of an issue for your guests. So, like I mentioned, you have actually quite a bit of space. Now, one thing that you may want to add to this property, and I know from being in a short term rental sphere, you're going to want some more amenities. So, you've got your units, your living units, But it would be a good idea to add a hot tub or some sort of water feature to this, probably for both units. And you can get those pretty affordable. There's actually a guy here in Chattanooga that sells hot tubs and that sort of thing. But you may want to consider putting that in. That way, as someone's chilling in the hot tub, they're also getting that view of the mountains and valleys there. Click through here. All right, so this is the sunset photography, but you can see a little bit more details. And they actually have a ladder here. I'm thinking that may be for, so rock climbing is very popular. I'm thinking that may actually be for rock climbers, or maybe there's some sort of reason that they have access to it. I'm kind of curious to it, and I might actually have to call Asher and his team and figure out what's going on there. But you can see from the photos, you have a pretty panoramic view. You've got your storage facilities here. It looks like they had, that's my little girl talking to me in the back. So I'm thinking this may be a chicken run. You've got gardening area, which is fantastic, but this looks like access to the boxes for the hens, so you could collect the eggs from the exterior. At least that's how we built ours, so I'm guessing that's probably what's going on there. But you got quite a bit of storage facilities and then amazing panoramic views, like I mentioned earlier. And it looks like this is going to be a true log cabin, just because of the way it's built. So you've got your brick fireplace, and from the back, it almost looks like it's usable as a stove, but I'd have to double check. This may be more decorative, but sometimes you'll get these where it's like multi use, especially if you have maybe an Amish built log cabin. They pay attention to details like that, and this property feels like they did pay quite a bit of attention to the details. So here you've got the types of windows that are going to allow one for air, so you can crank these open, but it also gives you more of a panoramic view. You could always get, like if you wanted a unobstructed view without this, you could always replace those, but this gives you plenty of control over the light coming in and that sort of thing, and the view itself just like that is fantastic. So while you could actually extend this out and make it a large dining area, I don't know that you necessarily want to get rid of this seating area. Maybe update it, but don't get rid of it completely, because I don't know about y'all, but I love enjoying my morning coffee with gorgeous views. And so I would take definitely a lot of advantage of having this as my coffee view in the morning. You can see that the yurt, that first one, is visible right here. Again, you could put privacy trees, make that a lot nicer. And since this is a 2000 build, it is going to need some of what you would just call like a little bit of a facelift update. You could put granite here. You've already got a rock backsplash. A lot of folks nowadays are actually either, if you don't like the cedar look, you can update it. You can do it white, make the cabinets pop, or you could actually just paint the cabinets. I've seen that done a lot, and we have a design company that we partner with that does a phenomenal job at that. I don't know a better view for washing your dishes. That's a $1 million view. So here you've got your laundry area right off of the kitchen, and it's a decent sized one. Sometimes they're in closets, but this is an actual walk-through one that's nice. So you've got bedroom number one here, and it's got its own bathroom. And if I'm not mistaken, all of them should have their own bathroom. There may be one where it's like a lockout to the main area. So, like I mentioned, it could use new light fixture, some paint. It looks really well maintained. I do believe that they were using this as a short term rental or maybe family getaway, because some of the furniture does look like they've put thought, updated a little bit, but it's just in terms of a top producing short term rental property, it needs a little bit of TLC to get it to where it needs to be. So it looks like they tried to finish it out, but never quite got there. This looks like it's the bathroom for that bedroom. So you could finish that out. And then here you've got your laundry area, I'm assuming for the yurts. This is going to be an exterior one. And that actually may be from the looks of it, it looks like it might be that unit between the cabins. So maybe it's a kind of do your own laundry sort of thing, but it's nice to have a separate area for that. And then here you've got the crawl space of the main cabin. Oh, that's a pretty crawl space access thing there. And yeah, so right here again, it's got it roped off. So each cabin, again, it's its own unit. So you've got your little paths here. I'm thinking the bedrooms here, so they don't really have um, want people to enter. So like I said, each unit is self-contained. I believe the bedroom is on the back side, which is probably why they have this roped off. Um, so that way, like people aren't using this entrance, they're using that one. It's a lot more private. You could probably mark that a little bit better. It could use just a little freshening up, maybe some paint on the deck. And like I mentioned, I feel like there is something to having um, maybe some sort of privacy. If you're using this like its own unit, go ahead and give it a private retreat feel as opposed to just a standalone unit without amenities. I think it would probably do okay, but I don't think it's going to be a top performer if you don't have that thing that people are looking for. And most of your short term rentals are going to have a hot tub feature. So here's the inside of the yurt. And they've already got little pamphlets here. That's nice for people that are visiting the area for the first time. Now, these yurts are fantastic. Can they use improvement? Yes. And here's where I would do that. So you've got the basic setup here, and it looks like it's well appointed for the space, which is fantastic. You've got your mini splits, which push air into the main area and into the bedroom. That's fantastic. But these floors could honestly use some TLC. I mean, if you're worried about weight, you just do like a vinyl rollout. I would give it something a little bit less rustic and give it a little bit more of a finished out luxury feel. And I think this is butcher block. Butcher block's okay. I would say you want to make sure that it's everything feels more up to date. Like right now, you're seeing modern fixtures. I believe the sliding door is modern. And then, I mean, older appliances, not really that big of a deal, especially if they work and they're clean. But I would focus on making sure that your finishes, again, give off luxury instead of this is my guest house that sees action twice a year, which I bet if this was a short term rental, they were seeing more action than that. But you want to make sure that it really does have more luxury feel, more uniform throughout, and all of that. And with the mix match, I mean, it's not really the biggest deal, but it does look like that they were replacing it over time, that not a ton of thought was put into it, or like it was thrifted or used from a different project, which is, I mean, that's not the end of the world. It's fine. But whenever you're trying to create a luxury feeling experience, which is what everyone's looking for when they're scrolling through photos, you want to make sure that you meet or exceed expectations. Another thing to keep in mind is the cabinets. There is a lot of wear and tear. They may be fine, but I would definitely paint them um, just to give it that fresh and up feel because right now it's not giving that. And then so here you've got the living area. They have this rigged up again to provide air to the areas that are blocked off because, of course, you're not going all the way up. Yurts are kind of an interesting shape, and so it would be a lot of headache to put one split unit here and the other split unit there, and it doesn't need that much because it's not a ton of square footage. And so on the other side of that wall, which I don't, it looks like you can access it, just walk around. You've got the bedroom area. Again, that door is like at the foot of the bed, I believe. So that's why they have that roped off. It doesn't make sense to enter through the bedroom. And then here's your bathroom shower area. They've got the towelettes and the little makeup stuff there, so that's nice. See? But again, sprucing up. The views are really what sells it. If you want a more panoramic view, I would probably go ahead and chop some of these trees up in the front so you're getting an more unobscured view. This is that second cabin, so you can see that first one over here. Same thing, you could get rid of those trees. Now, during the fall time, it might be nice to have them, but you've got trees behind you, so you're still going to be able to enjoy the foliage there. So you have a cooking area, and I'm assuming you've got them on both sides because that would make sense. But it's giving state park and like, I don't know, area to clean your fish, which it's okay for a state park. They have like what, 200, 300 of these campsites usually. And but you're not state park. You are trying to create an elevated short-term rental experience. But yeah, it's cute, like family retreat style, but you can do better than this. And I think if you did put the time and effort and the thought into it, it's going to look like $1 million property with just a couple of fixes. So you've got your propane here. You can actually get these buried. So whenever you're setting it up with the company, you can ask them, hey, go ahead and put this underground so we don't see it. Again, it's so close to that. I would probably just go ahead and bury it close by your laundry. Of course, you want to make sure you're not hitting any lines or anything. That's why you get the professionals to do it. This could be made really cute too. So if you are going to do a bed and breakfast style experience, definitely spruce this up. And I mean, it's the winter, so stuff looks dead anyway, but there could potentially be like hydrangeas, some evergreens, and that sort of thing. Yeah, I believe this is a true cabin. It's showing all the signs of being a true cabin. So, but an absolutely gorgeous property. If you're looking to retire and have a place for family to come visit, it's fantastic in and of itself. It's move and ready, good to go. But if you're looking to curate an experience for guests, I would definitely go through, make those changes, and make it a $1 million property and a place that people would want to come visit. So that is the end of our tour. If you have questions about this specific property or others like it, feel free to give me a call. I've got my contact info here in the description. We do this all the time, whether it's in Blue Ridge, Gatlinburg, or closer to home like Chattanooga. We're happy to help y'all out, and we want to see families build generational wealth one piece of property at a time.